If you're studying for the INBDE, I highly recommend INBDE Bootcamp, an all-in-one study resource that will help you pass your exam. Use coupon code MENTALDENTAL for 10% off. Hey everyone, Dr. Ryan here, and welcome back to Mental Dental. In this Dental Mythbusters series, I'll be taking a common dental belief, putting it under the microscope, and asking one question. Is it fact, fiction, or somewhere in between? I'll use evidence to support or deny the claim so you know as a patient, student, or doctor what the truth really is. Today's myth, it's a big one, is fluoride actually safe? So let's find out. As I said, this is one of the biggest debates in dentistry, and it's honestly been that way for over 80 years now. Some people say that fluoride is one of the best tools that we have for preventing cavities, while other people say that it's a neurotoxin and it should be avoided completely. So today, we're putting this dental myth to the test. Is fluoride actually safe? And here's the verdict. It is safe as long as it's used properly. Like almost anything in healthcare, the dose matters. You might have heard the saying, the dose makes the poison, which is very true. Too little fluoride won't do anything to protect your teeth, but too much fluoride can, yes, cause some issues. So the real question here is not, is fluoride good or bad? The better question is, how much fluoride is the right amount for each patient? So a little background here, fluoride is a naturally occurring mineral found in water, soil, rocks, and even some foods. This is a completely naturally occurring mineral. In dentistry, fluoride is used specifically because it has some benefit. It helps protect teeth against cavities. That is an unshakable, testable, and proven fact. To better understand this, think about the teeth in your mouth. Every day, your teeth go through a battle. When certain bacteria that live there in your mouth feed on the sugar in your foods and drinks, they produce an acid which can sit on your teeth and pull minerals out of them. This is called demineralization, which is the very first step of a cavity forming. Fluoride helps prevent cavities by three mechanisms. One of them is inhibiting this demineralization by reducing the solubility of enamel. In other words, making it harder to dissolve. So that's one thing. The second thing is it also promotes remineralization, the reverse mechanism, by supplying fluoride ions to replace the missing tooth minerals. And then number three, it also inhibits bacterial enzymes, stopping those enzymes from producing that acid. So fluoride helps shift the balance toward remineralization. It helps remineralize early weakened enamel and makes the tooth surface more resistant to future acid attacks. It's not magic, but it's one of the most studied and effective cavity prevention tools we have. Now, here's where the nuance comes in. A lot of things in life are helpful at the right amount and harmful in excess. Water, for example, is necessary for life, but you can drink too much water, which surprisingly is lethal. Vitamins are important, but too much can be toxic. Even too much oxygen can be dangerous. So everything in moderation, right? Fluoride is the same way. At the right dose, it helps protect teeth. At excessive doses, for example, during tooth development in young children, it can cause dental fluorosis. Fluorosis is a change in enamel appearance that can show up as white spots like you see here, but also in more severe cases, brown discoloration or even pits, physical pits in the enamel surface. Most fluorosis is mild like you see here, but it's still something we want to prevent entirely. This isn't a concern in adults because their teeth are already formed, but it is a concern in younger children because their crowns, the parts of the teeth that you can see, are still forming. The last crowns, except for the wisdom teeth, finish around age 8. Not only that, but the other concern is young children are also more likely to swallow toothpaste accidentally instead of spitting it out. Swallowing larger amounts of this fluoride toothpaste can cause things like nausea, vomiting, and stomach pain. And a child under age 8 doing this chronically can absolutely develop dental fluorosis. So parents should supervise their kids' brushing. They should use only a tiny smear of toothpaste, about the size of a grain of rice, for children under 3, and use a pea-sized amount for children ages 3 to 6. While fluoride in toothpaste is generally considered safe, there's a larger, ongoing discussion of overall fluoride intake, especially from drinking water. In the United States, the recommended level for community water fluoridation is 0.7 parts per million, or milligrams per liter, which is designed to reduce cavities while minimizing the risk of things like fluorosis. Some organizations even list other health problems associated with excess fluoride consumption, including acne, diabetes, osteoarthritis, cognitive deficits, and thyroid dysfunction, to name a few. These are based on research studies that looked at fluoride consumption in kids and fluoride consumption in pregnant women to see how it affects their children. However, those specific studies have a lot of problems. They have unreliable data, poor study design, and fluoride levels that are double or even triple the level found in our drinking water. The truth is, fluoride has been used in drinking water in the US since 1945, and we have decades of research supporting its safety and effectiveness at the recommended levels. Even before adding it, by the way, some natural stores of water in well water have fluoride concentrations higher than what's recommended, and they actually have to lower the amount of fluoride. That's not true for all well water, but that is true in some cases because, as I said before, fluoride is naturally occurring in water and rock and soil. So that's something that sometimes has to be dialed back, and then in other cases, fluoride is added to the water. It just kind of depends on the source. But like we talked about before, the dose matters. Too much fluoride, especially during tooth development, can cause dental fluorosis, and very high long-term exposure can even contribute to skeletal fluorosis, which can cause bone and joint pain or stiffness. So if you're concerned about your fluoride exposure, the first step is not to panic. The first step is to know your water level. If you're on city water, your local water provider is usually the best source for that information. And if you have a private well, the fluoride level can be checked through lab testing, so you can find that information out for yourself. We also shouldn't lump every form of fluoride together as if they're all the same. Fluoride toothpaste, prescription fluoride toothpaste, fluoride varnish, mouth rinses, supplements, and fluoridated water are all different sources with different doses. And yes, they can add up. But when fluoride is used at the right amount for the right patient, it provides important cavity protection with minimal risk, and for the vast majority of people, the benefits clearly outweigh the downsides. So what I tell patients is if you're an adult and you're using fluoride toothpaste normally, brushing 2 to 3 times a day, spitting it out, I'm not worried about that. Similarly, a fluoridated mouth rinse, as long as you're spitting it out, is helpful too. If you're a parent with a young child, I want you to supervise brushing and use the correct amount of fluoride. And if you're at high risk for cavities, fluoride especially can be extremely helpful. This includes patients with dry mouth or xerostomia, patients with a history of a lot of fillings and cavities, exposed roots, orthodontic appliances, frequent snacking, or a history of recurrent decay. For those patients, avoiding fluoride completely will increase your risk of getting more cavities even more, which of course is not fun. At the same time, if someone has concerns about fluoride, the best response is never to mock them or attack their opinion. Instead, we should hear them out, explain how the dose matters, and talk about the benefits and the downsides honestly. Just like most things in life, there are pros and cons, and we should weigh those things appropriately. So the final verdict for is fluoride actually safe is a resounding yes when used as directed. Young children under the age of 8 should be careful not to use too much fluoride toothpaste and should be especially careful not to swallow it because that would be a quick way to get a little bit more fluoride than you should. Otherwise, it's a great anti-cavity tool for patients both young and old. If you enjoyed this episode of Dental Mythbusters, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and let me know in the comments what myth you want me to cover next. Thanks again for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.